Hello, cozy detectives, and welcome to the Blanket Fort Files. I'm Larissa,
And I'm Joy.
and we're here to report on all things comfy and cozy.
Ooh, I know. I feel like we kind of like got in the habit of saying it that way. That's how I said it last
Like
time
all
too.
silly. Yeah, it's fun.
I know. And it's like I want to do the hands, but they can't.
Oh,
They
they
can't
can't
see.
see.
Yeah,
Comfy, cozy.
throw
With
back
our
to the
little disco
pointers.
fingers.
The scoping. Oh, did you hear that?
Oh, Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, what are we going to talk about? Because we literally recorded yesterday because we're trying to get like back like caught up, and we were going to do that over the break, but then I got sick, so now we're like, okay, we got to stockpile. So we don't have a lot to catch up on because we just recorded, but yeah, I did see that, and
Yeah.
I'm excited, but I'm just slightly annoyed because my sister and I make bingo cards every year, and I had a new Harry Styles album last year, and I'm like, dude, you could have
Aw.
announced this 2 weeks early.
That's funny. Wait, so bingo cards and like what you think is going to happen in the year?
Yeah, just like pop culture, worlds. Yeah, it's all because every
That's fun.
everything wild happens. So
Yeah.
anything's on the table,
Have
honestly.
you guys
So
won at bingo before? Like in one of the
no,
years?
we usually get maybe like 3 to 5 squares crossed
Yeah,
off. So,
yeah.
but
I do have not a super big update, but in my doing all of the things for the new year type of tracking of all of
oh
it.
yeah, your bingo card.
Yes, I made a bingo card of like just fun little things to do. And I am like 50 plus percent done with a book. And then
Ooh, what book?
it's called Undistracted. It's by Bob Goff. I just like uh, again, it's like part of the like I want to have the more analog year of it. I'm kind of over I don't know. Like I want to like do things and I like being on social media. Obviously this is fun, but I don't want to do the doom scroll. So,
Yeah, I get that.
and then also it has not come in yet, so I've not marked it off, but I did purchase a one-time purchase in case I was like, I don't know, of the Le Petit like magazine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me know if you like I liked it. It was just where I was in life at the time. I just couldn't like sustain it, but I did
Yeah, I get
enjoy it while
that.
I had it.
That's why I did the one off because you can purchase a one off magazine in the month and it will come, or you can do I always want to say prescription, but it's
Oh,
subscription.
subscription.
That's such a like sometimes my brain will just be like replace a word and I'm like,
Oh
that's not it.
no.
That's not it,
That's
brain.
funny.
But I did do the one off. So but it I will say it is making me very excited to keep checking my mail because it comes in the mail and you don't know when it's gonna come and it
Yeah,
just be
it's
showing up out of
fun.
nowhere. So that is that my two things I think so far because there's a couple other things I have on there. I think we shared this where I had like take a class. I'm like, I don't know what class, but I think the thing that I'm liking so far is already in January. Like we're only as recording this like a little bit over halfway into January, and I feel like I am more focused. I feel like I always forget that like there really is something about writing it down where your brain just like remembers it.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. And I have
Yeah.
my little punch cards. I need to get a punch card thing. I want to get a fun one. What do they call it? A hole puncher.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have
Yeah.
really cute ones like little hearts and
That's
flowers
what I
and
want.
shapes. That would be fun.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
want like a fun shape versus just like meh, meh.
Yeah.
So I haven't crossed up
I
anything for
was
that yet, but
I was just gonna say this. I don't know if you participated in this. I felt like these really hit their like peak in
mm.
the like 2010s. Were you really into like all the subscription boxes that were like super popular?
Oh, no, like I never was because I feel like the only thing that I kept seeing of it was like makeup ones.
Yeah, I
And
did Ipsy for like 2 or
yeah.
3 years, and it was really a good deal, I feel like, and I wasn't a big makeup user, but I just like that you got something to try, and
Yeah.
the bag really sold me. I still have a bunch of them even to this day, but it used to be like full size products, and then they just started
Yeah.
scaling it back and more to be like sample sizes. So I unsubscribed, but I did that. I did Stitch Fix for a while.
Mm.
Um,
There's one
I
now, Newly, that's a clothing one. And also shout
oh
out to
yeah,
my
I've
mom
seen
because I
people who do that.
right? Shout out to my mom because I did get her. I don't know if it was Ipsy or something close to it. Like I got like a her for Christmas one year, like a 3 month thing of that, and that's the only time I've ever gotten it. But those little baggies, yeah, I see them. It's so funny though because I see them all the time at Goodwill's.
Yeah,
Like
I bet.
always at Goodwill's. Like I don't know if I've been into a Goodwill in the last 10 years that there hasn't been one of those.
That's so funny. But yeah, I even because I went through a phase where I was really trying to be a tea drinker. My mom got me like a tea one
Ooh,
for a time.
that's fun.
But yeah, I think they're fun. I definitely think they got way oversaturated and they
Yeah.
became expensive, but it was the fun of like, oh, I'm getting like
Yeah.
physical mail. And so that was always just like exciting. It was like a little present every month or every few months, depending on the
Yeah.
subscription. So
What is the this is gonna bug me. What is the TV or maybe not TV show? I think it's a movie where he gets them a is it When Harry Met Sally where he gets them a subscription to fruit and then it's like pears and it's like there's too much fruit in the house.
I
Oh,
don't think it's When Harry Met Sally. I don't, oh, you,
I did a
no,
kids
that was,
I feel like, right?
no, was it? I'm thinking of the advent calendar pear story that my sister told me that went viral on TikTok a couple years ago. That's what it was. I was like, did you tell me that? I was like, no, I think Jacqueline did.
However, it's definitely not that. It's giving me a movie called Fruitvale. That ain't it.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness, cozy detectives, let us know in the comments because that's gonna drive me crazy. Because there's, I wonder if I could just like look up there's too much fruit in the house.
This is the problem when you think of a reference and then you're like, I have no idea. And then Google looks at you like, are
Yeah,
you
that's
okay?
exactly what just happened. Let me try again. Oh, it's a Fruit of the Month club on Every Loves Raymond. It's that.
Oh, I saw like an episode or two in passing, like maybe on a plane or like at a hotel, but I never really watched it.
Wow,
So,
that's a throwback. I haven't watched that in forever. Yeah, because
oh,
she
it's
goes, "What am I
funny.
supposed to do with all those pears?" That's so funny. Oh my word, throwback.
um, well, I'm glad when we were sitting down. I think I even mentioned this too after we hit record, but we're like, what are we going to talk about? Because we literally recorded yesterday and we spent 20 minutes talking about people we met on vacation. But
And I wish we have some stuff
now,
to share. Well, probably
yeah,
already. Well, maybe yeah, we'll probably already have shared it by the time this came out. But it was crazy. It's like the interwebs heard us, and like
yeah.
them in interviews heard us and stuff.
Yes, I know that's like all I've been
Wild.
getting so far. Even though I've been trying not to scroll as much. When I do scroll, I get a lot of their like press junket stuff, and it's so
Yeah, I
fun.
didn't know he's like British.
Yeah, you didn't
I
know
had
that?
no idea. No, no
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
I was like, no.
He it's funny too. I can't remember if we had talked about this Joy or not, but he's in one of the Hunger Games movies. Oh yeah, I think I said that because you were like, "Oh, he's CIA," and I was like, "Yeah, he plays the bad guy in Hunger Games." Like, it's a prequel, so it's like before he
It's
really
a
becomes
show
the bad
one.
guy. It's like his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I saw this morning. I think Bustle shared it because I did a case file on Love Rosie before a
Yeah.
hiatus, and it was a picture of the main guy from that and then Tom Blythe from People We Meet, and it was like when your name is Alex and you're in the Hunger Games and you're in love with your best friend who's named after a flower. And I was like,
Wow.
yes,
You're like,
no wonder I
okay,
love both of them.
too spot on. They even
Yeah,
reference that in that where she's like, what is she, Daisy or something? She's like, Daisy
yeah.
and Puffy, we're both
Oh,
flowers.
yeah, so cute.
So funny. Oh, I'm
Well,
excited about this because you're up first today, but I haven't seen your case file since I was a child.
yeah,
Like I'm
I
pretty
hadn't
sure.
either. I watched it. It took me a couple days because that's how I am a lot of times with movies. But yeah, I
Mhm.
hadn't seen it since I was a kid, and there was stuff that like really came back to me, and then other stuff that I just like totally forgot about.
Oh my goodness, I'm
Um,
excited.
and I've only seen yours once. Like I think I saw it in
Mm.
theaters, but I've only seen it like the one time. So I'm excited to hear about it. And I know this is a fave for you, right?
Yeah, this is my favorite live action version of
And it was one
what
of
what
the first
was.
ones too, right?
It was the first, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I was also gonna ask because you kind of teased this when we threw to this episode at the last one. You said this isn't your favorite Disney princess, but I'm curious to know which one is.
My growing up, it was always Belle, and I'm not
Me
gonna
too.
lie, part of it's just because she had brown hair. It's like
Me
you
too.
had brown hair,
Bring
I
it
had
in the
brown hair.
books.
Yeah,
Same.
I I think in personality wise of it, it's probably actually Mulan.
Oh yeah, I
I
love
love
Mulan.
her.
Yeah.
I just love her spirit and spunk. I think I would have loved Moana if that had been a thing when I was a child.
Yeah.
Um, but I think what it is, and again, because I've only seen yours once, but I'm interested to see how they play out the character in your version, because we both have live actions
Yeah.
in your version of the live action, because I think I would have liked this character a lot more if the animated version had been like my movie.
Yeah, I'll touch on that some when I guess I can go ahead and get into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are both doing different Cinderella adaptations today.
Yeah.
Mine is the Brandy version, and it's literally just called Cinderella. I think yours is just called
Yeah.
Cinderella, so it's kind of confusing, but we're gonna just specify the differences based on who's playing Cinderella. So mine came out in 1997. It was a made-for-TV adaptation. This is the second remake and third version of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, and the original actually starred Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
It was directed by Robert Iscove and written by Robert L. Friedman. So I'm going to kind of do more like backstory into it. The plot's very similar to the cartoon. There's some differences in terms of like characters or whatever.
Yeah.
It follows it pretty closely, and I think everyone knows the plot of Cinderella by this point. But
Yeah.
a bit of backstory of how it like came to be, which I didn't know any of this, but so Whitney Houston stars as the fairy godmother, and
Wild.
she was originally going to play Cinderella. In 1993, there was a TV adaptation of the musical Gypsy that she just loved.
Mm.
And so she approached the producers of Gypsy and was like, I want to do this with Cinderella. And so there was a lot of like back and forth. There were a lot of delays. So they really didn't start getting traction until 97 when Disney ABC like picked it up and said that they would do it. So by that point, Whitney felt like she was too old to play Cinderella. And she essentially like offered the role to Brandy.
Whoa.
She liked her a lot. She thought they were very similar. And
That's
like,
gonna be wild for Brandy. Just to be
right.
like,
And like,
Whitney Houston thought of me? Like, that's crazy.
yeah, and Brandy even said, like, Whitney Houston was, like, an idol for her, so this was, like,
Yeah.
a dream opportunity and, like, getting to work together, because I don't even think Whitney Houston was gonna be the fairy godmother. I think Brandy was like, "Okay, I'll do it, but, like, can you be in it?"
Oh, that's
So,
so
they kind of,
cool.
like, helped each other be in it, which is just kind of cool. And like this movie has some obviously Whitney Houston, one of the greatest singers.
Yeah.
Brandy's very talented, but it also stars Bernadette Peters, who's like a Broadway legend. She plays the stepmother. Whoopi Goldberg is the queen.
Oh my God, I
Um,
forgot Whoopi Goldberg is in that.
yeah, and she
So
has like
90s.
truly, she has like one little singing part, and it's actually her singing too. So, um, and then Victor Garber plays the king, and he had like literally just wrapped up Titanic when they started this.
Wow. Still
And
never seen LOL.
I always forget that. And I'm like, what? It's because it's one of my favorites, and like definitely not
Like,
cozy.
I
But
know the ending, so sad.
side note on that, I have like the I don't know which edition, but I have like a collector's edition on DVD with like a
Whoa.
third disc of just the bonus features.
Love.
And it said there was like an alternate ending. And I'm like, how do you have an alternate ending to Titanic? Like, what? But it's like the
They just
old
never hit the
lady
iceberg.
stuff is like, that's what's alternate. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, you can't really have an alternate ending to this
Yeah.
sinking ship. But
I know. Yeah, that's wild.
yeah.
They're like, don't worry.
Um,
We have, remember like in the night, speaking of the 90s, maybe it was the early 2000s, where they would have that thing that they put over. Oh my word, this is such a random TV infomercial. It tells you I was a TV kid, but they would have like a like circular, huge, like thing filled with water, and then there'd be a crack in it, and he would take this like putty stuff, the infomercial guy, and he'd like
mhm.
cover it, and he'd be like, all good to go now. And I just pictured that as like the alternate ending of him just in there with like the
Yeah.
putty. And don't worry, the ship's fixed. We're good.
Well, the actor who plays the prince, who actually has a name in this, it's Christopher. Um,
That's his
he
name
w-
too.
he was talking to Victor and was like, "Oh, like what have you been up to?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I was just working on a little project in Mexico in these water tanks. Like
Nah,
no big deal."
nah, nah. Hello.
Yeah. And so this is obviously a very diverse cast, and the producers did that purposefully. They did like a racially blind casting for the movie because they felt that by the 90s, society had really evolved.
Yeah,
And so they wanted the cast to reflect that.
absolutely.
And Brandy was actually the first Black actress to perform Cinderella on screen. And Whitney Houston, um, I found a quote from her saying that every generation should have their own Cinderella,
I
which I
mean,
thought,
honestly, I
and that's
agree.
kind
Yeah.
of where we're at with like,
Yeah.
we get
Don't
like,
mess it up this one
right, we
because
get like
we're due for
a,
another.
no, literally, it's like every 10 years we
Yeah.
get a new version, which is kind of cool. So the budget for this movie was $12 million, and it's
Whoa.
still ranked as one of the most expensive like made for TV movies of all time. Yeah.
Whoa. That's
So it's, I
cool. I
don't
didn't
think
know that.
it's like, I don't think it holds the record at now, but I think at the time, if it wasn't the record, it was pretty close. It was just like a very expensive movie. And it did pretty well. It originally aired to 60 million viewers. And so that was the most watched television musical in decades. And it earned ABC its highest Saturday night rating in 10 years. So it
That's
did really
awesome.
well, which was good because it's always like if you have a big budget, you gotta do you gotta
Yeah,
do really
yeah.
well. And it was heavily promoted as the centerpiece of the newly revived Wonderful World of Disney. So I know you're like a big Disney
Mm.
kid, so I don't know if you like remember that time.
Gosh, not really. But that was on. No, you said ABC, right?
Yeah, but I think that was like when I don't know if when Disney acquired ABC, but Disney had acquired
Yeah.
ABC by that point. So,
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh
yeah.
gosh, yeah, I don't remember that. But I mean, it makes sense to do like a Cinderella,
Yeah.
do like the first classic and redo that and be like, here's like us rebranding type of a deal or
Yeah.
doing whatever they did with the brand. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so like I said, the plot is really similar to like that original cartoon. I just think everyone has more of a personality, like there's more depth to
Yeah.
them. Um the relationship feels a little bit stronger. Like I feel like they kind of sort like they actually meet before the ball. I think that's one of the bigger differences.
Yep.
He's like goes into town, not really in disguise, but he's kind of like not quite like Aladdin vibes, but he's like trying to be more like a commoner. And so they actually meet. She still pretends to be someone else, kind of, when she goes to the ball. But it's pretty similar. Story wise, I don't think they really deviate a whole lot. And I think they definitely do a lot more in yours. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to hear more about like if what the rationale was behind
Mhm.
that. One of the changes though that they made, they cast Jason Alexander as the prince's valet, and his name is Lionel. And they just kind of created this new character for comic relief. But it was interesting doing some research. So Jason Alexander took the role despite the salary being like way less than his Seinfeld salary.
Mm.
And he kind of felt like this movie, and he wanted to have like a part of it and felt like this sort of responsibility that they were going to kind of change the game with musicals and like movie musicals and stuff like that. And I definitely think that kind of kicked off because, in the early 2000s, like we got so
Yeah.
many movie musicals, which we're doing in an upcoming
Yeah.
episode. I'm excited.
Exciting. Two of
So
my
I
faves
think,
we'll be doing.
yeah, I'm so excited. But I think it was just kind of like cool of him to kind of have that forethought of like, oh, I want to be
Yeah,
part of that movement.
absolutely.
And then getting into like the music, like most of the original songs from the original like Julie Andrews musical, but they kind of rearranged the music to sound more poppy and more contemporary to like fit Brandy and Whitney Houston singing style. They did change some of the lyrics because they wanted it to reflect the more diverse cast. So they just kind of changed some of the lines so it would make a little bit more sense. And then Brandy felt kind of awkward and struggled a little bit with recording the songs because it was like, while it was still a little bit more like pop focused, it was still different than like what her normal music was.
Yeah, yeah.
But she and then she also felt that her voice wasn't fully developed because she was only 18 when they filmed this.
Whoa.
Yeah, she was really young. Um, and
Wow,
she
being 18 years or like 17 years old, probably at the time when Whitney Houston's like, what about her? That's crazy.
right. And then
That's
like
crazy.
speaking of Whitney Houston, she essentially like kind of coached her through when because she was like
Oh,
Brandy was struggling to project, and so she would tell Brandy like sing from your gut as opposed to your chest,
whoa.
to
Facts.
kind of help her sing louder. So I'm just like, oh, can you like not only you get to work with her, but she like helps you become a better singer. Like that's just so cool.
So cool.
And then I was just kind of thinking, and this actually came up in my research, but while I was watching it, I was like, why don't these songs really like stand out? Like I never like really listened to them other than The Impossible that became like a
Ah,
TikTok
love that one.
audio. I was like, I don't know any of these songs. And it's because they never released a soundtrack, which I feel like is just a super big missed
Oh,
opportunity. But it
yeah.
was because they just couldn't get it to work with Brandy and Whitney Houston's schedules, which is kind of
Mm,
disappointing because I feel like you've got
yeah.
all these iconic singers and we don't get a soundtrack for it. Because even like Paolo, who plays the prince, he's a really strong singer too. And so I'm just like, man, what a bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer, especially in that time period too. Like, I feel like Whitney Houston in the 90s. Are you kidding me? Like,
Right?
I would presume that was like the zenith of her career, right? It had to be the 90s. I just feel like
Yeah,
I
I
just
feel
associate
like
her
it.
so strongly
Yeah.
with that decade. So,
Yeah. So,
oh,
and then just a few little like production behind the scenes things as
yeah.
well. So obviously the slipper is really important to the story.
Mhm.
So for this movie, it was made from acrylic, and there was only one pair that actually fit Brandy. So there's a scene where Christopher like picks it up when he finds it and they show it. And it's actually a lot smaller than the real ones that Brandy wore. And because they wanted it to appear
Mm.
like very dainty and ladylike. So it's like they were saying basically like a real human could actually wear this shoe. It's so small.
Whoa.
And then any close-up shot of like quote unquote Cinderella wearing them was actually a foot model to again make
Yeah.
it appear smaller because Brandy was like, I'm a size 9, and a size 9 appears like size 12 on camera.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, the camera adds 10 pounds type of a deal where it's like your foot looks bigger.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what's the deal? They can just show her real foot. It's not that big of a deal, but
Yeah, right.
okay.
A human's a human, you know what I mean? Like,
Right? Like make it look natural. But
yeah.
And then I do actually have a connection to my
Mm.
case file last week.
Ew.
So again, there's a lot of jewelry in this movie, and
Mm.
the queen wears a lot. And at first, all of the jewelry was going to be fake, but Whoopi Goldberg was like, a queen's gonna wear real jewels. I
Heck
want real jewels in
yeah.
this movie. So she contacted Harry Winston, who designed the big Isadora diamond from How to Lose a Guy in 10
Cool.
Days. I never mentioned his name, but I remember seeing his name in my research.
Yeah.
So he loaned production several pieces for Whoopi Goldberg to wear, including a 70 carat diamond for a ring and then a necklace. And the ring was worth 9 million and the necklace was worth 2.5. And it was estimated that Whoopi Goldberg wore, are you ready for this number?
Oh gosh. I don't think so.
$60 million worth of jewelry for the film.
What?
Yeah.
Also, like, how wild that if your budget is, what do you say, 12 million or something, that you
Yeah.
can get like 60 million
Yeah.
loaned to you.
Right. And they had like the
That's
same
crazy.
like bodyguards and everything on it. And I
Yeah.
really wonder if like any of them were in both
The
movies
same one.
because it was
Yeah.
like 5 years apart. So it'd be kind of funny.
I bet. So I bet if you were like, I mean, this would be like the craziest deep dive, but I would wonder because those type of jewelry is just so iconic and you just keep that because it lasts, obviously.
Hmm.
I wonder if like on the background people in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, if any of them are wearing the same one that
Right.
Whoopi
That'd be
wore,
so
that'd
cool.
be crazy.
I know. And then something I'm glad I found a little bit of research on this because when I was watching it, I this is something that I remember as a kid, but I didn't really obviously have the words for it. But the sets in this movie are really pretty.
Mm.
And what's interesting to me is that it feels more of they built like you can tell they built sets versus
Mm-hmm,
oh we
mm-hmm.
are going to like go out and look
Yep.
for locations like you can tell it's like handcrafted sets and it's just like very artsy it's very there's some things that felt very like whimsigoth to me and like there's an
Mm.
outfit that Bernadette Peters like wears to the ball and I was like oh my gosh this is peak whimsigoth this is so iconic but
Mm.
the film sets were designed by Randy Sir, and there was art direction by Ed Rubin, who actually won an Emmy for this movie for the art direction.
Cool.
Um, he opted to combine a bright and bold color palette with a great deal of subtlety. And so they identified the film's time period as like Nouveau into Deco, which I think really embodies the like vibe of the movie and the like set design. And they were incorporating influences from Gustav Klimt, who was an Austrian symbolist painter and a founding member of the Vienna Succession movement. And
Mm.
I need to fact check this. So I'll look up this later. But I did go to Vienna and there's this really like pretty building that I like have a picture of. And I don't know if he was involved in that, but design of it felt very similar from the sets in this movie. And so
Cool.
like I could see that like similarities was just kind of cool to pick up on. And so his work, this Gustav guy, his work helped define the Art Nouveau style in Europe. And then Prince Christopher's palace was built on the same location where the Yellow Brick Road was built in the
What?
original Wizard of Oz. So they, some of the buildings they specifically did in yellow as like an homage to that which was really cool.
Aw, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And then
Oh, there are some pretty gnarly like crossovers. I'm excited. Okay, keep
yeah,
going.
and then I just have one last little
Yeah.
tidbit. I've never seen any of these movies in the Descendants franchise, but both
Mm.
Brandy and then Paolo, who plays Chris, they reprised their roles as Cinderella and the
Oh
King in the
yeah.
Descendants franchise, which I just thought I learned that like doing research. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I remember seeing, I think again, it's on social media. I remember seeing that they were coming back to do that, and it's like, aw.
Yeah, super sweet.
Yay. Okay, so I had to write down my last name, the last name. So my case file is the Lily James version of Cinderella. And
Not
if I
Lily
say
Collins.
Collins in this, just give us some grace. It's
My
hard.
favorite thing about you.
I can't. I like. It's just sometimes my brain's like, it's like the same thing. It's like my brain switching the words. It's just like, okay,
I
whatever,
know.
let it do its thing. So my movie came out in 2015, and so like you were saying earlier, we're kind of due for a Cinderella, but I'm scared
Right.
because
Yeah.
I love this version. This is widely known as a lot of people's favorite versions of the like this wave of the live action remakes.
Hmm.
Which is very interesting too, because the costume designer on this that absolutely killed it also did the 2025 Snow White, and I don't know where that disconnect went, but I feel
Oh,
like the costumes in this, like she nearly won an Oscar for the costuming in this, and I
yeah.
feel like the costuming in the more recent Snow White is just not people do not love.
Well, I just heard nothing about that
No.
Snow White was
I
good.
know, I know. And it's like, oh man, what a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I think the thing, like you were saying about the sets, I think one of the big things about this version of Cinderella is they also really heavily like made the sets and they
Mhm.
had the candles, which I'll talk about. They had everything more so built and really like there's like obviously some CGI, but in this one they don't sing, which was kind of an interesting take on it. And I feel like they did it very well. Um, versus like I wouldn't say they made it hokey, but I feel like in the Mulan version, people were like, why didn't they add the songs into Mulan? But then in oh my word, I remember watching. Have you seen the live action Aladdin?
I'm gonna be honest. I've seen like this one once, and I've seen Maleficent,
Oh yeah,
and
that's the other one that people really like. I have
that's
not seen
like
Maleficent.
the only adaptate live action. For me, with
Mm.
the like live action, I really like Maleficent because I feel like it's kind of like Wicked, where it's like a new take on the
Yeah.
story and it's like a
Hmm.
new perspective. But when it's just like you're doing the same story, I'm almost kind of just like, why?
Yeah, I just want something new with it. I want a new
Right.
something. And when it feels like, and I want it to feel like that Disney magic of the original, but I'm seeing it with my eyes in live action. You know what I mean? Like that's what I
Yeah.
want as the viewer, I guess, going into it. And that's one of the big things with all the other ones. Can I will give a very, is it a small spoiler? It's a something. I don't know what
It's
it is.
fine. It
Okay.
won't bother me. I don't even know if I'll see them. To be honest, there's just so
So
many now.
it was crazy. I remember watching the live action Aladdin, and there's a part in it where Jasmine starts to sing, and the way that they filmed it, I thought for some reason they were giving her like magical powers, and I remember being so
Oh.
thrown off, and it took me out of the movie immediately.
Oh
And
no.
it just like the thing about this that's great is in this live action version, they really I would say like melt you into the world in the
Mhm.
way that they film it. It's directed by Kenneth. Is it Braganaw or how do I
Oh,
say his name?
Branagh.
Thank
I
you,
think that's how you say it. I don't know,
thank
but
you.
he's
Which
very talented.
right, I did not realize that he directed somehow. I like hadn't added that together in my brain. But he also directed Much Ado About Nothing in
Mhm.
1993, and then he also did most recently Belfast, which won him. I think that's one that won him his Oscar. Oh yeah, and Murder on the Orient Express. It was just so crazy too, because like in a lot of these, he's also in it, which I'm like, that's
Yeah,
so funny.
he's in a lot of his movies, and then he used to I think they were married. He was with Emma Thompson for a long time too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also in this movie, this cast is just wild. So it's got Kate Blanchett as the stepmother, Lily James as Cinderella, Richard Madden, which I've never seen.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I've never seen that. So this was kind of my introduction to him, honestly. I used to also, speaking of other people I get confused, I used to get him and the guy who plays Bucky confused.
Oh, I
In
can see that.
right, I'm like, that's
That's very
same dude,
similar. Yeah.
you know. It
I have
also,
a really quick funny story of
yeah,
Richard
do
Madden.
it.
So he's in the Elton John biopic.
Oh,
And I didn't see it. No, I did see it with my friend for the first time, my friend Sarah. And because he's Scottish in real life, but
yeah,
he's Scottish in that movie too. And
yeah.
so he just has a very thick accent. And when you go to the movies, you don't have subtitles. And so my friend was like, I didn't understand a word that man said the whole movie.
Ah, that's so fun. I know. I didn't realize he had that because he does great in this of
Yeah.
like no accent whatsoever. So, oh my word, that's so funny. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie either. I feel like this might be the only thing maybe that I've seen him in. A
Oh,
question
okay.
mark.
I mean,
Um,
I've only seen him in Rocket Man, and I have seen Game of Thrones, so
yeah, yeah. It was just so interesting because people in interviews were like, "What from Game of Thrones is similar to this?" And he's like,
yeah.
"Not much. I
And
mean,
it's so funny too that that's I've seen and you haven't. Like, if our list, Cozy Detectives were
yeah."
like to pick one of us to have seen, I feel like they would have guessed you.
I know, I know. It's like it's one of those things where it also just got so built up in my head, and it was such a
Oh,
huge.
yeah,
And I like joined it late, or like I would have been joining it seasons and seasons late.
yeah.
And then I've heard that everybody did not like how it ended. So then
That
I'm like, okay,
didn't
well then
bother
why would I watch it if everybody hates where it ends? So
exactly, yeah.
anyway,
No,
back to
you're
Cinderella.
fine.
It also has Helena Bonham Carter as the fairy godmother, who she just does so
So
great.
talented.
Stellan Skarsgård is the Grand Duke.
Oh.
It's just such a like it's a very well cast movie, but it's
Mhm.
interesting because thinking of them individually, I feel like maybe like you wouldn't. I mean, I feel like for Cinderella and the Prince, I feel like they like really click in. But like the other characters, are like, oh, okay, well, like that makes perfect sense, and I feel like it's very well cast. But in the moment, I wouldn't have thought that. Um, but so the main like structure piece that I want to talk about in this is the main ballroom where they have the dance, they have the dancers, And
Hmm.
speaking of jewelry, they rented or were loaned Swarovski crystal jewelry. And I think the thing about what you're saying about your film and about this film is that the details in it are so good. So the extras who are also, or the dancers who are also in that scene,
Hmm.
individually spent about 4 hours getting ready for
Oh,
the scene,
whoa.
which I feel like is normally what you would hear for like the lead actor in it. But
Yeah.
these are the extras because they had their costumes were specifically made for them, and then
Oh,
they had
whoa.
the jewelry that they got on, then they had the makeup that they went to, and then they had their hair done, and it was just like I feel like it just shines through the film so well. Which also I think a reason why this movie is more of like a classic than the other remakes more recently of the Disney movies is this was filmed on film.
Oh.
I feel like it gives that timeless, like more magical feel to it than
Yeah.
like digital, more like it's too sharp. It's not like I want to
Yeah.
be in this world with Cinderella. Even in like the sad parts of it, I just feel like the lighting works better. It just feels more natural. It has the whimsical nature of it. And so in this set, I didn't realize this, I think again, because I just presumed it was CGI, but they were so focused on the more practical side of things. The chandeliers that they have on like dropped from the ceiling, there are 2.5 thousand real candles on those chandeliers
Oh my
that they lit.
gosh.
I know. I
With
just
like what, like a match or like
yeah,
how did they light?
yep, they're all
Dang.
standing on because they lowered them down. So if you watch the behind the scenes, they're standing on ladders, literally lighting the candles one by one.
Oh
And
my
you
gosh.
know what I mean? Like, how do you not get into the feel and the vibe of that scene? Whether you're an
Right.
extra, whether like no matter what, even Kate Blanchett has a quote from her talking about that scene is you're really genuinely rooting for her. Like speaking of like she was like it was hard for her not to tear up watching them do their dance in the middle because it's just
Yeah.
like you want Cinderella to like win. You know what I mean? Like you just want it to work out.
Yeah.
In her outfit itself, so in that iconic, which is so interesting because what a risk because Cinderella's outfit is white in the
Mm.
is it white? I think it's white or maybe a little bit pink. In the cartoon. No, it's definitely white. In
It's
the
yeah, well,
cartoon
in the
version.
cartoon, it's confusing because in the actual cartoon, it's like a whitish silver, but I
Yeah.
feel like in marketing, Cinderella's in blue, and like
Yeah.
Brandy Cinderella wears a blue dress in mine too.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Because I didn't remember another live. Yeah, because it's like this, like yeah, it is like this, like whitish, bluish. Um, but in this, I feel like it's just I don't know. It's so pretty. It had over 10,000 Swarovski crystals in the dress
Oh
itself,
wow.
and then there's butterflies on the kind of neckline, and it has so many layers, and it moves wildly. Like it is so pretty. The one thing I kind of wish is in watching the behind the scenes and then watching the like movie version of it. I think they do well with the saturation that they up it with because I just feel like it does add something to it. But the dress in particular, I wish they left a little bit closer to how it looked in real life because
Mm.
of all of the layers of the dress, you could really like see purples and the movement of it. And I feel like it just looks pretty blue in the movie itself. But obviously, like it's still beautiful and gorgeous and like it glitters and she has the crystals in her hair and it's so pretty. Also, she had a hard time sitting, obviously, as you would. And then also, um, just blacked out his name. Oh, Richard. Richard Madden was very excited to film that because they made that set on the 007 stage. So speaking of like they
Oh,
used a previous stage,
cool.
he was like, this is the 007 stage. Um,
That's fun.
and so even it was just so fun to see the details that they added into that and the details they added into everything else. Like the animals were real. The animals don't talk, which was an interesting take because like Gus, don't be talking. He's
Yeah.
just
Oh
chilling.
yeah, there's no mice in mine. That was a big change.
Oh, because there are animals, and it's wild too. Because like you can see them trying to figure out how to put the geese on their mark. Like it spent like a long time
Oh.
figuring out all those scenes, but I feel like it turns out so well. And then also in the scene of the ball, they have princesses from around the world. So that was another thing that they really wanted to include is okay, if this prince is looking to get married, everybody would come to this. And
Mhm.
so they had like, again, if you're looking at it and you see it, you can see a whole bunch of different cultures that they specifically like added into this to be like, okay, everybody's coming to this kingdom to try to be like, do you want to marry me or not?
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And then Lily did say that she felt most like her character while dancing, which I thought
Aw.
it was just sweet. I really
Yeah, I
liked
like
it.
that.
And it's real musicians playing also, and they're playing on period accurate pieces.
Oh, like instruments?
Yeah, instruments. Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
like the instruments are more period accurate. And so it's like, it just creates such a real environment that you're walking
Yeah,
into.
I just and we've talked about this before, just like the attention to detail and the craftsmanship
Mhm.
on some of these movies is just like really inspiring.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, that's why I feel like it lasts versus potentially, I mean, sorry, Cozy Detectives, if a different one is your favorite, but this is so clearly my favorite live action. Because I feel like the CGI used in the other ones, like the biggest part of CGI in this is, besides some of like the animals' faces and things like that, is
Mhm.
really when the dress changes over. Like even the pumpkin was like a real pumpkin that, well, not, well, obviously not, but the coach that she drives in was real and was really pulled by the horses. So it's like things like that were more practical than CGI. Now, one thing, shocker, that I didn't know was CGI is her slipper. She
Oh.
They had a 0 one on set that could fit Lily. So she
Not even a
never,
tiny one.
not even a tiny one. She had like basically a green sock with dots on it
Oh my
that
gosh,
they
that's funny.
pretended, which I'm like, wow, good job too. Like making that look pretty realistic, you know?
Yeah, mine I didn't mention this because it's the 90s, so mine was, like, the very much, like, decom, like, CGI graphics, like, it's you could tell. It's like they had the like, Whoopi Goldberg not Whoopi, sorry, Whitney Houston, like, appeared with these, like, sparkles, like, covering the
Ah,
screen. It was so kinda hokey, but it's kind of the, like, charmingness of it.
right. Yeah. Because again, it's like in that time period, they're also doing their best. And I feel like that's the thing that you
Yeah,
can also read through the screen is like everybody on this film is doing their best to make this the best film possible. And I
yeah.
feel like no matter what time period, even if like there's this funny 80s movie that I haven't seen, but one of my friends just showed me, and it looks, oh, it's like a live action Mario. Honestly, it looks horrible, but you can
Oh,
tell they're
no.
having, seemingly they're having fun, and so I'm like, hey, maybe I'll watch that with you, but it looks
Yeah.
real bad. But the director also has a quote talking about how one of the reasons that they're doing this is so that life can be all right and life can even be wonderful. And then
Aw.
in this, really, kindness is a superpower. And one of the things I didn't realize, because I feel like it's such an iconic thing when you talk about Cinderella, have courage and be kind, came from this.
Oh.
I know.
I didn't realize.
Apparently, it was not in the original. And like, I guess I haven't watched the original in so long, but I just
The original
presumed
does not even have, like, any sort of, like
backstory of anything.
no, it's,
Yeah.
"Oh, your life is hard, you had this Mary fairy godmother, she makes
Yep.
you pretty, he loves you, the end." Like, there's
Yeah.
no lesson with it. It's
Yeah, and
kind
that was a
of
big thing with this is they really wanted to like round out the characters. They gave actually like background story to the prince, so he's been away at war, which is another thing that like adds any layer to him because that guy is just a whole lot of
a
nada
wet
in the,
napkin.
yeah, in the cartoon. It's like, ooh, yuck. They also ended up casting Lily a lot because of her strength and her innocence. She was able to really balance those very well.
Was
And
this
mhm,
her this is the first time I was
yeah,
introduced to her? Is
it's
this,
one of
like
her first.
okay. I didn't know
Mhm.
if it was, like, the first one or just an early role.
She wasn't very well known, so technically they were kind of taking a risk on casting her because again, it's not like I feel like at the very least Brandy was known enough, at least Whitney Houston knew her,
Yeah.
you know. Whereas in this, Lily wasn't as well known. She had been in Downton Abbey
Oh,
by this
okay.
point, and
Yeah.
like Mamma Mia 2 was after this, 2018, I
Yeah.
believe, if I'm remembering a previous case file correctly.
Yeah,
Um,
that's 2018.
so yeah, this was kind of a risk to take her on as this like
Yeah, because like, the
obviously the
rest of the
iconic
cast
role.
is really big.
Yeah, even if you like look at it on IMDb, she's the second. So Kate Blanchett has the top on. I'm like, honestly, facts.
Yeah.
um, but they also, so the, oh yeah, that's what it was. The screenwriter really wanted to. So one of the reasons he gave a lot of background to stuff is he didn't want to. He said make the prince not a stuffed shirt. Like he like didn't want him just to be like this one layer
Yeah, wet
boring.
napkin.
Yeah, a whole lot of nada. And then I thought this was just like a fun thing because I feel like Helena Bonham Carter has been in so many different things and had so many different costumes and all of it where you're just like, I don't know. I just didn't think that this was this role for her, but this was the biggest outfit that she had ever worn.
Oh, and
Right?
then when did because this was after Alice in Wonderland when she had that giant
Ooh, yeah, let's see.
wig, right?
I think, I mean, because the thing is, on this, she called herself basically. So where was? Oh, I forgot that she's in Enola Holmes.
She's in like everything.
Yeah, she's in so much. I know this was after. Yeah, so Les Mis was 2012, and then trying to see. Oh yeah, Alice in Wonderland was 2010.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, this would have been after that. Because again, it's like you just think of her in like very iconic, very avant-garde style
Yes.
outfits. But she
Mhm.
made a joke about how basically she was like a walking Christmas tree or a lamp. and, and this, I don't know if maybe my brain just didn't remember it, but they put so much detail into her outfit also specifically because every time she would like cast a spell or do something with the pumpkin or whatever it was, her outfit would change colors
Oh,
because
wow.
it was like a huge light up like whole thing underneath that top layer. And I guess I didn't realize that that was there. I don't know if maybe I just missed it the first couple times I had watched it, but
Yeah,
I guess I didn't realize that.
that's cool.
But again, I think the reason that this movie is so cozy and a good rewatch to me personally is kind of that have courage and be kind of it. Of it's a good reminder, and again, nobody's going to get this perfect, but it's a good reminder that even in a hard time, even in things like that where you're just watching Cinderella just get so mistreated, her good natured spirit of it really shows through and really also leads her to such a different place than because the one of the background stories in this is the stepmother was like not great but really became bitter after her husband
Mhm.
died, and that also really led her to like mistreat her stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Whereas Cinderella just makes such a different choice in this, and it just leads to such a more beautiful, well-rounded life. And so, I feel like that's a good reminder, and it's just beautifully shot. I feel like even the like cinematography of it's great. The costumes as we've talked about is great, and then the details to it, like it does have some CGI, obviously, but I feel like they focus so strongly on the more practical elements of it that the CGI doesn't take from it. Whereas I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes it feels, I don't know, like they're using that instead of creating this world for us. They're like, we'll just create it later. Like, talk to this like green person. And it's like,
Right.
Whereas, yeah, this just has that timeless nature to it. And again, the film on
Yeah.
film, people, I swear.
I know. Yeah, I didn't talk about coziness for me, but I would definitely say the set design is just so
Yeah.
fun and colorful and quirky. And I think it obviously, I think it in a way, I think it surpassed the time period, but it also is so of the time period, especially when you
Yeah.
have like two 90s icons of Brandy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Whitney Houston. So I think it just kind of like firmly cements it. And just hearing
Yeah.
her quote of, every generation, it's like every 10 years we get one. And I
Yeah.
mean, I guess the 2000s, it was Hillary Duff in a way.
Ah, love it.
Another case file
So
throwback.
good.
But I know I'm like, all right, we need a 2020 Cinderella, but
I know.
I'd be too nervous. I feel
Please.
like
I
they wouldn't do a
know.
good job.
That's my fear is also like once you have these really good remakes to remake it again is like I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like maybe just leave it, you know?
Yeah,
Not
for real.
forever, obviously, because kiddos need a remake, but
Yeah. And
okay.
what's your 2%?
Yeah, true. Fine, fine. You went first last week. So mine is another thing of just kind of taking care of future me. So
Mhm.
I've always wanted to do this, but I would say I started doing this better this week, or maybe I just like finally did it. Is I did some meal prep. So
Ooh.
I have some egg bites ready to go, and then even more than that, the thing that I started doing that I just really feel like helps out future me and just kind of like takes some of that mental load off is I started doing not like full on doing where it's like there's a bunch of different ones I've added together, but those kind of like freezer meals where you can
Oh,
have those
mhm.
like cube things and then you freeze it and then you have basically kind of like ready to go like
Yeah.
food. And I feel like it just helps because I'm like, okay, it is that time of year where like I have not gotten sick yet, knock on all the things, but if I were to, it's like, okay, I have meals ready or something too, where this is so random, Cozy Detectives, but I feel like it's also helped me a lot, is I always feel like I end up wasting pasta sauce because it's just like,
Oh,
right? It just sits in the fridge too long. And so I froze that sucker.
there
And
you
so
go.
I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm using my resources better. I have this. And then I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to go buy more pasta sauce because I have two
Yeah,
like
you're
rounds of
right.
it in the freezer. And so really doing that meal prep, just it does take that mental load off during the weekdays for me
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, even if I like forget something or like forget to make dinner, I'm like, okay, I could just heat this up and good to
Yeah.
go. So
Love
yeah,
that.
that's fine. What's yours?
Mine uh did happen after we recorded, so this happened last night. And then I didn't even like think about it in the moment of like a 2%, but when I was like sitting down, I was like, no, that actually was a really good 2%. So um last night my sister was talking, she's like, oh, she goes through these like periods where she's like, I really want a juice. And she was saying that last night, and we live in walking distance of a gas station, and I was
Oh,
like,
that's
well, why
awesome.
don't we just like walk over, you can get a little juice, I can get in the, I ended up getting like this strawberry kiwi vitamin water that was like really good, but it was just
Ooh.
like a little, hey, we're gonna move our bodies, we're gonna walk over, we're gonna
Yep.
get a little drinky treat, and it was like a perfect little 2% cozy.
Aw, I like that. I know.
Yeah.
I wish more towns were set up where you could be within walking distance of something.
Yeah, we're not
That's so good.
really near much because we're pretty close to a highway, but we can walk over there. So
Yeah,
it,
that's too.
that we it's really handy when we get like ice storms here because
Yeah.
then we can just, when we had the Texas power blackout a few years ago and we were under a boil notice, we went, my sister actually did, but she went over and got like the last pack of like water bottles
Yeah,
there.
that's
So
huge. That's
yeah.
huge. Okay, what about our cozy detectives?
Yes, I've got two. One is from Susanna, and she said that she started watching All Creatures Great and Small, which is the coziest show ever, which I've not heard
Ooh,
of,
me
but I'll have
neither.
to look into that. And I did ask her for, we'll have to insert a picture, but I asked her on the update for her rosemary
Yes,
tree
the plant, the tree.
population, and they
Yeah.
were so cute. So
Yee.
we'll share a photo here. And then Pramani21 shared that they've been doing Gilmore Girls word search books. That also is a
Fun.
coloring book with like little quips and quotes from the show, which is
Oh,
so
it's
fun.
so
Very
fun.
on brand for us too. So
Yeah,
love
and
it.
another little analog something in
Yeah.
there. I know I need to do my dot one again. I actually have it right here. I need to pick that. I need to put it by
Perfect.
the TV. I feel like that's the thing that's
Oh,
stopping
that's a
me.
good one. Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you for listening, Cozy Detectives. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Blanket Fort Files Pod. Send us your 2% cozier. Please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And then join us next week in the Blanket Fort where we'll discuss the coziness of our favorite movie Galentines.
Yeah, throwback kind of to last year, but now we're doing movies.